wife called, she said, buy the boat.
Ahoy guys, you know, owning a boat, fantastic. Financing can be a little tricky. So we're here with Cindy Lewis with Sterling Associates to fill us in on some of the ins and outs of getting the right finance deal for you.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Cindy Lewis, and I'm with Sterling Associates Marine Lending. I'm based in the Annapolis office, and we have offices throughout the United States and lend nationwide. There's a lot of questions when it comes to marine financing, but it's really very straightforward. It's much like buying a home where you need to save up for a down payment, and you can secure a loan up to 20 years depending upon the size of the boat you're buying. However, it's not as simple as a good credit score and a down payment. There are a lot of factors involved when it comes to marine lending. First of all, the type, the age, and the year of the vessel that you're looking at come into play. Most banks will lend on boats back to 1995, and there are a few lenders that will go back to 1985 and on a case-by-case basis even a little bit older than that. Typically, the banks are going to require anywhere between 10 and 20% down. And on your older boats and the boats over $100,000, they'll require 20% down, generally speaking. Some will go 15%, but you may pay a higher interest rate. Interest rates. Everybody calls me and says, what are your rates? Rates are at historic lows right now. However, it's not just getting you the lowest rate. The lowest rate may not be with the bank that lends in your footprint, and it may not be with the bank that will lend on certain collateral. By certain collateral, I mean age of the boat, how the boat is powered. Some banks won't finance go-fast power boats. Some banks won't finance aluminum boats. It's kind of not a one-size-fits-all. It's really custom lending. So that's where a finance company and a finance representative or someone like myself comes in. What we do is we take your personal information and see if you're creditworthy, and then we also combine it with the boat that you're looking to buy and make the best match for you. Sometimes people are looking just for a low payment. Sometimes people are looking for the least down. Sometimes it's a combination of both. At Sterling, we have a core group of lenders that other finance companies have as well. Plus we have other regional area credit unions and national lenders that we work with to make the right fit. So working with a sales representative and a finance company that's going to find the best fit and the right match for the boat you're looking for is important. It's important to know, for us to know, what's the most important to you, meaning low down payment, longer terms. Of course, everybody wants a low interest rate, but in the general picture of things, if we have to get you an interest rate that's a little bit higher than what you might think you're going to get because you saw it on the internet, we're probably making a better fit all around with your down payment structure, your monthly payment, and other things that are important. When it comes to rates, we are at historic lows right now, and it's a very good time to borrow money. I've done a lot of loans recently for people that thought they were going to pay cash, and instead come to find that rates are at such low rates that it's better to keep their investments going and to borrow money for a few years. They can always pay off the loan, and this way their money is still secure. Another thing to keep in mind is the tax advantages to a loan. You can take a Section 163 tax deduction on a boat loan if the boat has cooking, sleeping, and toilet facilities in it. In other words, a second home interest deduction. That may or may not be important to you, but you can take advantage of it while it's still there, because someday it may go away. A lot of people think that you can do a home equity line and take that same type of tax deduction, but that home equity line is capped at $100,000. Although we're not tax experts, you should check with your tax accountant or your attorney regarding those kind of rules. But there are some advantages, again, to taking a boat loan. Another thing I've come across recently is that people have saved and saved and saved, and now it's time to go off and have fun on the water. But the retirement savings account laws have changed. So now people are a little bit surprised when they find that they can't take that big chunk of money out and go out and buy the nice boat without paying extra penalties. So again, having a loan and stretching out that withdrawal over a couple of years can be very advantageous. While your money is still earning interest in your investments, in your retirement accounts, you can take a loan for a few years, get into the boat, and not pay extra penalties for withdrawing your funds. So you've decided that you want to look into boat loan options. It does require some paperwork, but again, we try to keep it minimal. It's not the old days where you could just give a social security number and sign a contract and be off on the water. We'll require a credit application. We will pull your credit score, a recent pay stub, driver's license, and tax returns for the last 2 years. Pretty straightforward stuff. If you're self-employed, we will need your business returns, and sometimes these returns are a little bit complicated. However, all of us have very good underwriting teams, and what they do for their 9 to 5 is look at tax returns and figure out how you cash flow and try to get that boat loan in place. So no matter how complex your returns might be, we've seen them before. So again, this is just part of the process. Years ago, we did have no dock loans. On some of the smaller boats, we only need minimal information, application, driver's license, and a pay stub. When you get into the larger loans, they're going to want to know a little bit more about you. And you know, it's basically show us the money. And if you cash flow, they're loaning money. Cash flow is a term that we use describing debt to income ratio. And just for general purposes, you would take a look at what your monthly outgo is. Mortgage, car payments, student loans, things like that. Add to it the new boat payment, and then if your debt ratio is no more than 40% of your gross income and your credit score qualifies, you're going to get a boat loan. So that's kind of what we look at: cash flow, debt ratio, and assets. When it comes to assets, the banks do like to see some liquidity after the down payment. They do like to see that you've saved for the rainy day, whether you have retirement accounts or real estate investments. They want to see that you've thought about the future. And it's not a set number, but as long as you're balanced in your liquidity, your long-term savings, and your goals, again, the lenders are out there to lend, and the banks have historic low rates. Another thing that will be required is a survey. And the banks require a survey on all used boats. They don't require it on a new boat. That's pretty straightforward. We get manufacturer's paperwork and things like that to verify collateral. But the banks require a survey with a NAMS or SAMS qualified surveyor. Most surveyors are one or both. But a survey is an investment in the collateral that you and the bank own together. And that survey will need to be in average or above average condition. There are times when people want to upgrade equipment and maybe even, put in a new chart plotter or a water maker or a generator, and that stuff can be financed into the loan. However, that's a case-by-case situation, and it takes, again, some planning and quotes and work orders and things like that. But we can certainly work with you to customize your new boat with new equipment and make it all fit into the finance package. So that's easily done, and done quite often. We often see charter boats coming out of big charter fleets that people want to have them be a little bit more long-term passage worthy, with water makers and generators and new electronics and updated electronics. So that can easily be done as well. If you'd like more information, feel free to go to our website or ask the broker or dealer you're working with who they recommend for financing. Often, sales reps like myself become the broker's right hand and work very closely with brokers. Our business is based on referrals. So go out and buy that boat, borrow some money, and have some fun.
Well, Cindy, that's good information. And I'll tell you, you guys look behind us. Waterfront view everywhere you go. Check out your new boat. Cindy, thanks very much for your help.
Thanks, Tom.
Check it out, guys. Happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.